Welcome to episode 395 of InTouch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and we have our usual suspects of the panel here. Let's start off with Jill McKinley. She's here in the first slot. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Glad to be hanging out with you tonight. Marty Gensius is also here. How you doing, Marty?
I've got pride in my stride and skip in my hip.
that sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
And sporting off his hat is Guy Searle. How you doing? Hi, Guy.
I'm doing fine. This is my hat of intelligence.
Yeah, with your little tie at the bottom there.
Yeah, it's in case
So
in case
smarts
I
don't
actually
blow
manage to
away.
get on top of a surfboard, it keeps the hat from coming off.
There you go. God. Oh, and,
It's remarkably, it has a remarkable shape and color to it, considering it's made out of tinfoil. Well, I need something to keep away the aliens.
there's that.
If I knew it was
Eric
hat
Bolden
day,
is-
I would have got my hat down.
Eric Bolden is here. How you doing, Eric?
I need more tinfoil.
Doesn't everyone in their life?
Oh, gosh. Glad that you're here, as well as Jeff Gamet. How you doing, Jeff? Thanks for being here.
I'm doing great. I'm sorry I missed out on the dress code memo. I would have brought a hat made from either tin or aluminum foil. Also, is either one more effective at blocking the aliens?
No, but it stops their anal probes.
Okay, so I get it. Wasn't supposed to be putting it on my head.
No, but I think we need to move
Got
on
it.
here.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with the show here. We've got plenty of things to talk about. As we always start off with is In Touch with Vision Pro. This week, Apple released VisionOS beta 26.2. That's beta 2. It came out not even a few days after we just did Vision Profiles, so it's
Came out on Tuesday.
came out Tuesday. So again, it's out, and again, there's nothing to really report, unless Marty, you have anything to report that I'm not aware of.
The article you put up. It was interesting because someone in the comments said, "Hey, come on, guys, do your work. All of the data is here in it, and just the kinds of things compared to the last beta, which was beta 1. You've got better pressure force values fixed with the stylus, the Muse stylus, so they're still working and perfecting that. There was something that has happened with between beta 1 and beta 2 around AirDrop, where everyone visibility does not give everyone visibility in terms of AirDrop. So that's something that they're going to have to fix. They fixed some things with StoreKit. Subscription status is still taking time trying to confer that statuses have occurred or subscriptions have occurred. It can take up to 24 hours. They fixed some issues with memory ref counting and tracking some things that are missing. SharePlay is broken for DRM content. So you can't SharePlay videos with SharePlay. But overall improved stability, despite all the things that I just said. So that's what's new in this version of beta.
All right. Eric, did you have not been still not running beta, right?
Nope, staying away from beta.
All right. So we'll go ahead and move on here. And I did get to watch the new immersive video Flight Ready. It was pretty phenomenal, I must say. This is a immersive video of an F-18 fighter pilot footage for the Vision Pro. It's these F-18 bombers that are landing on the USS Nimitz and strapping in with the F-18 fighter pilots, full throttle to the skies. It was pretty amazing, I must say. Just long overdue for another immersive video. We've been waiting forget forever for one. So I will definitely say it was a lot of fun to watch, and I was moving my head around up and down and checking the whole view out. Eric, Eric, what did you think of it?
Oh, it was good.
and they were using all the new cameras in it, so the quality was excellent. It's kind of a once in a lifetime experience, because I don't think I'm ever going to be on an aircraft carrier watching planes take off and land. And I'm certainly never going to be inside a fighter watching anything. So this was great. Yeah. And no, you got to see daytime landings, you got to see nighttime, all kinds of stuff. I don't know how you'd ever be able to experience it any other way. Almost wish it was longer. It felt really short. But that's just because the pacing was really good. There was something happening every minute.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure. And Marty, did you get a chance to see it?
Yeah, I watched it today and
Recording
enjoyed
in
it.
progress.
There was sort of a nagging thing that I had. There was some music that was kind of heavy metal type of sound, and I swear it was Motley Crue.
It was.
But I couldn't remember. It was?
Mm-hmm.
I've been searching to find that song, and I did some AI searching to find out if it could tell me what that song was. I waited for the credits at the end. They never gave credits to that music. And so it's been bugging me for the last couple hours, but none of the AI stuff or the searching that I did was able to say what Crew song it was.
I don't know if it was Dr. Feelgood, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or, I think that's what one. I'll go back.
Yeah, my only first of all, the shots that they did where they're off the Nimitz, it's like the camera is suspended in air and they're watching the planes fly around. It's got to be drone work or something that was just incredible. That when the jets went into afterburner, where they get that burst of white happening, that was pretty impressive. But this video still suffers from a issue that I have with previous videos, which is the people are too damn close. I don't sit that close to anybody. I don't, but they're like right in your face. Like if they had crackers for lunch, they'd be spitting at you. And that's a little too much for me. And I see that over and over with these videos, and it's like they don't do at least in our Western culture, the arm's length distance from the speaker that we're comfortable with. So I always feel a little uncomfortable looking directly into the pores of other people.
Were you watching it in window mode, or were you watching it kind of more immersive?
Immersive.
I did immersive, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I tend to drop it into window mode and pretend like I'm in a theater watching, which isn't quite as close as you're supposed to get, but then you don't get that I'm too close to people.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch it again.
I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
Since I don't have a Vision Pro, I haven't been out actively looking. Are there studios outside of what Apple's doing, producing immersive content for Vision Pro, or is this all just Apple stuff still?
I mean, this was produced by a studio of some sort, right, guys?
Yeah, but I think Apple was listed.
Apple distributes it, though, I think.
Yeah, and certainly was involved. But that was that whole 2-day session that Apple just did to try to make it so more people can successfully do completed projects. And that just happened. So I figure maybe another 4 to 6 months and we'll start seeing a bunch more of non-Apple stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but we've seen examples of it not produced by Apple.
Yeah.
There's that one bluegrass app that has the bluegrass band in it that is immersive video, not produced by Apple, but produced by a separate studio. So there are projects that are kind of coming into Vision Pro generally through some app system, not necessarily through Apple's gallery, where things are, where videos are being produced and yeah. And it's been a while. It's been at least 6 months to 8 months where we started to see these things crop up. So
okay.
And there's training material that's being done and is being distributed. Some car stuff. They have a helicopter training app. That video is all filmed on really nice cameras.
Yeah.
And you can mix this stuff in DaVinci Resolve. It's all
nice.
built in to be able to do that. So it has the availability for non-Apple Studio folks to be able to play with.
Cool.
I know, Eric, you did go to the Apple Store earlier this week. Last week or before the show last Monday.
Yeah.
And did they are they giving demos? You did go do the demo on the M5 Vision Pro.
Yes.
Did they show immersive videos?
Normally in a demo they did. I kind of skipped over it because I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to do myself.
Okay.
So I didn't jump into the immersive video because I wanted to see a virtual display and put widgets up all over the place and, try running as much as I could and as many tabs in Safari as I could manage to get up and see if it stuttered, and it didn't. But yeah, normally that's one of the...
I just wanted to mention that to those of you who are still thinking about a Vision Pro, that you can go to the Apple Store, and they're giving some really good demos now with immersive video is one of them, being able to experience it firsthand. So,
would the first version have stuttered? Because you tried to.
Well, if you're doing the one thing at a time, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
If you put up 10 widgets and a whole pile of Safari pages that are doing stuff, you might notice, some of the widgets not updating as fast as they're supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to beta this week. Apple did release all the betas across the board here. They seeded the second betas of iOS 26.2 as well as iPad OS 26.2 to developers, and the public beta is out as well. This was a week after beta 1 came out, so they got pretty aggressive and got out the new updates. There's a lot of new stuff that was released out here for this. So it's some things, including the Measure app, got a liquid glass. You're going to start seeing it. All the liquid glass is going to be added to a lot more apps, and we're going to start seeing more of that. There's now an option to sort games in the games app library by size, in addition to name and recent. CarPlay's got some updates. I'll be touching upon that in a bit here. Menu animations. The pop-up menus now have a corner button where it's quicker, bouncier animation. So you're looking at a lot of visual stuff that you're looking here, including alerts are going to be changed with safety alerts and what there was in the beta, as well as other features you're going to be seeing. So, yep, it's continuing on. And Marty, what was your experience with your iPhone so far with that?
It's fine. I haven't seen any changes. Haven't noticed any wow changes on it. But of course, I'm not looking at things kind of deeply. And if there is a change, it's sort of like, okay, I guess we do this way now. But I'm excited about the Games app in terms of sorting games. I think is good. And then we'll talk about the CarPlay stuff, which I think is important.
It is
in another round. So
yeah. The guy, are you running a beta on yours, or did you hold back?
No, I only have the one phone, so I'm desperately afraid to screw with it that much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hadn't heard about this yet, so I haven't yet put the beta on the iPad. The thing is, with the iPad, I love it, but if it gets screwed up because of a beta, it's not the end of the world for me. It's not like I was putting it, here on my main Mac. Though I did put the latest developer beta on my Mac laptop, but I haven't really noticed any changes.
Okay. Jeff, you tried it on your iPad?
Yep. And it's everything seems to be running fine, which there you go. If I'm not like wailing, gnashing at the teeth, or just going on about something in the update, that's probably a good sign.
Yeah. So a couple other things is there was next month there's going to be some new features in the CarPlay. It's a CarPlay setting that they added. This is extending the pinned conversations in the Messages app to CarPlay for quick access to your most frequent chats. Some drivers may prefer the classic view, but the list of individual conversations only. But now Apple now is letting you choose. So it will introduce that setting. And I know I'm on the fence with it because even in 26.1, you're seeing it now, and you can't turn it off. But at least now in 26.2, you will have the option to turn it off because it's been quite different to see it. I mean, I do like the fact that you have your frequent chats that you pin up at the top is there. That's kind of cool because that's probably like my wife or others that I have pinned. That it's easy to get to. So that's the cool thing. The other thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the way the phone comes up when someone calls you and you got the bar across the bottom on CarPlay. And I've tapped it a bunch of times. Sometimes I can't even get it to answer. I got to go to the phone to answer the phone. So I think there's still some bugs going on with CarPlay when it comes to that. And there's been times where I would tap it and then when it answered that I end up hanging up on the person. So it's still, I don't think it's 100%. I think it's kind of buggy. Has anybody else experienced that using CarPlay?
Not so much with the phone, but one UI thing that I wish they would change, because you basically have like 3 different types of home screens. You've got the home screens that has all the apps, you have the home screens that has the widgets, and then you have a home screen that doesn't really have either one of those. And not so much the one with the apps, but the one that switches between the regular home screen and the one with the widgets. I would really like there to be 2 different buttons for that, because once, like, especially if I'm driving long distance, I set my destination. So I'm not going to change anything in either Maps or Waze or whatever it is that I'm going to use. And so I like to use the widgets with that because it just dedicates a small part of the screen to Maps or Waze, and then allows me to have other stuff that I can do from within the widgets page. And when it basically comes up at the bottom, you've got the little round button. It's got a square in it, which takes you to 1. And then you have a nut. When you hit it one time, then it comes up with like the waffle inside of there to go to something else. And if it could just be like 2 different buttons so that I can choose which one it is. And if I have to go out of it to go to a different app, or I have to do something else, then I can easily get right back to the one that has the widgets set up the way that I want it.
Yep. Anybody else want anything about the beta 26?
Yeah, I would love to see some differentiation between what's on your phone and what's on when it comes to messages. What's on messages when you're in your car. I come from a family whose culture at this point, because they don't know any better, is it's a thumbs up to everybody's comment. So I'm driving along and I'm getting ding, 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 and it's all
I'm sorry.
ha, ha, and thumbs up and things like that. And I would like to have less interruption of that. I mean, I love having pinned section and messages on my Mac OS. I like it on my phone too. But on CarPlay, I'd like to be able to more effectively select who and what groups I want to silence, and more from a safety measure. I don't. It's distracted driving for me when that happens.
Yep.
What about souping up your focus mode for car driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, Focus and I have a difficult relationship because Focus tells me I should be asleep and shuts everything off on my device at 11 o'clock, and I'm up at 1, and I'm then fighting Focus. And So I've kind of turned all my focus off just because it won't play along with my lifestyle, which varies in terms of it. But yeah, I mean, I'll look at that
Yeah,
and
because you can
setting it up.
unschedule the sleep thing and start using the drive thing.
Yeah. I haven't gone to the drive thing, but yeah, it's a good idea.
Yep. So there's a number of other things I'm not going to hit on that were released on 26.2, but we'll continue to cover it. tvOS 26.2 beta 2 is out, as well as watchOS is out. Nothing really to report on those. So it continues on. We anticipate that the beta the final version is going to probably be released in a few weeks, probably about the first or second week in December. Usually, that's about what Apple's been doing in the past. So you will see that come out with updates as soon as we see it. And we move on to In Touch with Mac this week. They did, of course, release the beta for Mac OS Tahoe 26.2 beta 2. And like Guy said, there wasn't really a lot that you noticed with any upgrades with it. Pretty status quo. I don't know if Marty or Jeff or anybody else did experience anything different.
I don't have it installed on anything.
That's right.
However, unless I see significant improvements in just the system overall, I don't care about adding more features.
Mhm.
But fixing the memory leak issues, the audio issues,
Mhm.
if I don't see a significant improvement in those things with 26.2, I think I'm at the point where I'm going to tell people, if you haven't installed macOS Big Lake yet, just skip it and let's wait for version 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I mean the memory leaking hasn't been too bad for me, but I would agree with you if it's becoming buggy. I haven't noticed anything at work, so we've been pretty lucky. So I left it with me supporting it. Luckily, knock on wood, I haven't heard any complaints. So when we had to move to it just because of the way we've got our things set up. So but so far so good. 26.1 is probably a little more buggier than 26.0.1.
Holy
so
forking shirt balls, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully 26.2 is going to improve upon things here. I guess we'll find out. So may just need to look at that. So anything else that you're experiencing with the beta that you wanted to add here? All
I
right.
haven't really experienced any of the audio problems that Jeff is talking about.
I am so glad you have not.
I have not
Yeah,
either.
You don't need that in your life.
It could also, remember, it could also be something in your own settings that's doing it.
Or an app you're using.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of variables, and I'm certain that I haven't exhausted all of the variables to test.
Mhm.
But I would think that the other people I know experiencing the same problems, since they're being as exhaustive in their experimenting as I am, they've likely hit things that I haven't. So what I'm hoping is either someone comes across the things where they're like, oh yeah, if you have this exact combination, you're going to have this problem. Or, hey, there's this one setting that I bet you haven't checked. Look at it and I'll be like, oh crap, yep.
Yeah.
But so far it's just been a bucket of disappointment.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually really disappointed.
Yeah.
I had very high hopes for macOS Big Lake, and yet here we are.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with 26.2. So moving on, just talking anything related to Mac, 1Password. We love 1Password. They Agile Bits, our fun company that has released that great program, did announce a redesigned unlock system for Mac and Windows that allows the app to open automatically when a user unlocks their device, which I like. The new setting lets 1Password unlock along with the operating system when a user authenticates with Face ID, Touch ID, or a PIN and or a system password. According to 1Password, this removes the repeated reauthentication many users encounter when returning to their computers after brief periods, and while still relying on the device's built-in authentication to validate. It is an optional feature that you can enable on this, and it's part of a broader update, including new security presets defining how frequent the app locks, because it does lock a lot, but we kind of are been kind of used to it. So I think this isn't a bad thing. If you want that option, be able to do it. So I haven't tried this yet. Jeff, have you any comments on this?
I didn't know they were doing this. I guess I've
me neither.
been not paying attention, busy, whatever. But when I launched 1Password a day or two ago, like I was in the middle of, I need to log into this thing, do this thing right now, and I get this new pop-up asking me what settings I want, and I'm like, I just want to use my freaking passwords. And so I click something and it says, okay, so you're not going to be using a password. And I'm like, oh, no, just cancel everything, which it let me do, and told me that it was going to maintain the settings I already had. So that was great. And I mean, they did a fantastic job of gracefully exiting out of all of that, so that I can go back and really decide if I want to change settings later. I'm probably going to keep mine incredibly strict. I like the idea that I have to re-enter my password on a very regular basis, but I'm already using the authentication with my Apple Watch at my desk, so it's not a big deal for me every few minutes to have to just double tap a button on my watch. But I do think this is cool. Make it easier for people to use a program that can otherwise be intimidating at times.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's good.
This just got announced today as we record this, so that's probably why you hadn't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. So in that case, this must have happened to me earlier today.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Man, those aliens, when they abduct you, they really script your sense of time.
They do. All those aurora, all the roars that were going on out there, messing you up here. Anybody else have any comments about 1Password and this new feature they're adding? All right.
I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, I am.
It might get me to go back to using 1Password again. I've not recovered from forgetting my main password and losing all my passwords because I couldn't remember what it was. Because it was really
you lose that key, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a problem with them a couple of months ago, and it looked like they were signing me up for something. So I was like, well, I'm just going to drop you. And then I had second thoughts about it, but they had gone ahead and closed my account up. And I'm like, well, maybe I need to go back there and try and figure this mess out. So it hasn't been the best product for me, although I've had the product for years. And then just this last year, it seemed like there was a mishap or a mess up where I decided I was going to drop the product because I was getting really accustomed to Apple's password manager.
Yeah,
frankly.
All right.
You know, the Apple Password Manager app is pretty slick. And honestly, I think for the vast majority of people, it is all you need.
Yeah,
true.
I always joke about my one friend who always, we always work on technical issues. And she's like, I'm not using a password app. No matter how much you tell me 1Password's great, I'm not using it. And then she goes back to the Mac I sold her, and she's using the Apple one. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as she's using it, that's what counts.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, side note. I just went into 1Password settings after unlocking it with my Apple Watch to look at the security settings, because I'm curious if you're like someone like me who I need to do a thing right now, get your stupid whatever pop-up thing out of my face and let me do my job kind of person. I know. I probably need therapy.
Mm.
Is it easy to go back and find the thing to do the settings later if you want to? And the answer is yes. And it shows for my app unlock preset that I have it set as custom,
Okay.
which is exactly right because I set it all up after or long ago, exactly the way I want it, and it did not change it after the pop-up. So, and then it gives you a button where you click security review and it lets you pick exactly what you want right there.
Yep.
So super cool. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Another little discussion I'd like to have. I can't believe it. It's been 5 years since the M1 Apple Silicon processor came out. Seems like yesterday we were talking about it for this first time and how incredibly excited we got that Apple finally got away from the Intel processors. And I still own an M1 MacBook Pro, which is getting long in the tooth here. I'm ready to be doing an upgrade probably next year. If I'm on the fence. I'm debating whether or not I want to wait for the M5 Pro, or should I just dive in and get the M5, which I'm leaning towards. Maybe the M5 is okay, but that's another story. But like I said, the 5th anniversary that it replaced, it was unveiled actually on my birthday, November 10th, 2020.
Wow.
And so that's a celebration by itself along with that. So, and it was in the Mac Mini, the MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro. I owned the first Mac Mini, the M1. I bought that, and that was a really nice machine. I got a basic model because I'd already had my my MacBook Pro. So, and because the MacBook Pro came out right after the Air, because the Air started it, and then it came out later. So if we, so when the M1 chip was launched, it was probably one of the world's fastest CPU core, industry-leading performance per watt, and it's only improved since then. I think the best thing was is the fact that they went fanless on all the laptops, so it was so much quieter. Oh my god, it drove me nuts. Like I was getting a jet engine with the Intel Max that we all experienced. So, but then measure it against the M5 versus the M1. It's now 6 times faster CPU and GPU performance, 6 times faster for AI performance, 7.7 times faster than AI video processing. This is the M5 versus the M1. 6.8 times faster with 3D rendering. It's 2.6 faster in gaming performance and 2.1 faster code compiling. So you're definitely going to see this. I'm not going to ramble off all these benchmarks, but yeah, it's pretty incredible. And if you go back and match what's there now, you've got quite a difference in clock speeds and comparison. And Apple did sell the Silicon Max along Intel Max for the first 3 years because everybody was panicking. Oh my God, I'm still using Intel. Well, now we're at the end here where Intel is going to be gone completely, except for the Mac Pro, which they still haven't done anything with yet, and that you really don't even hear much about the Mac Pro anymore, honestly. But who knows if that's ever going to get upgraded? So it will continue to evolve, like everything is done with processors. Between Intel, AMD, other processors, and I'm pretty happy that what Apple's done, and I think that's what really has helped Apple do real well with the Mac and how much it's increased in its sales and the percent of usage out there now. So, Marty, what do you think about this with the processors? I mean, you pretty much have owned every single one of them, I think, just about. But
yeah, I traded a M4 in for an M5, and frankly, I noticed the difference.
Okay.
And it is, what happens with the M5 Pro series or Max series or Ultra series or whatever they choose to call it when it comes out next year. I'll decide whether I need it or not, but I'm using that now in the classroom, the M5, and it is quick. It's real quick. And noticeably so. So I think if you were to go from an N1, Dave, you would also notice.
Yeah.
It's not just speed though. It's kind of how well things integrate together, how easily they integrate together. Yeah.
Jeff, what do you think? You went to a you upgraded from an Intel to a M series pretty
I
recently.
did. Well, it feels recently, but
Yeah.
I guess not, because I went from Intel to an M2 Pro.
Okay.
And the performance improvement was significant.
Oh yeah.
And this M2 Pro performs so well that I'm not tempted to replace it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great thing. The only thing that would tempt me to really upgrade right now is if I decided I want to go ahead and spend the money to have a Mac that has more RAM than I currently have. But why do that when I can sit here and complain about memory problems?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jill, did you upgrade to what's your latest M series Mac?
Well, I got into the Mac world, so famously got into the Mac world with the Mini, the first Mini that came out on the M chip.
Yep.
And that one right now is running all home automations and sits downstairs,
Nice.
hooked up to the Synology, and the whole house runs on it. And I had to take Homebrew off of it because Homebrew was kind of choking it up a bit because of RAM, not because of processor. But still, it's still cooking along. But now I'm on a M4 MacBook Air and an M4 Mini. And I'm just going to have to figure out what my pattern is going to be. I knew in the Intel Windows world how often I needed to buy a computer, and I'm just not there yet. It's sort of, I'm taking it, I'll know it when I know it kind of thing. I need a new one.
Jill, that's actually a good way to approach it. Because you will know it when you know it. And it could be that there's a couple more generations of the M series processors come out where you're like, oh man, that'd be great to have. But everything you have is great.
Yeah. And my friend now has the M1 MacBook Pro that I bought originally, which was my first purchased MacBook Pro or Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cooking along just fine for her. She doesn't edit video and audio like I do.
It's a little machine.
Yep. So, good news.
I agree. And Guy, I remember go ahead.
I remember telling myself, I can't wait to get a Mac. They now have Intel processors.
That's what made me decide to finally go all Mac. I mean, when 2006 when the Intel came out.
Right.
Yep. Guy, you just got a Mac Mini not too long ago, right? You have the M4?
Yeah. Once I found out that I was going to lose my job, it was like, well, if I don't get one now, while I still have a decent amount of money coming in, it might be a while before I change it out. And I was still working with a relatively high-end M1 Mac Mini, which was such a good machine. My wife is using it now. And, so I'm on an M4 Pro. And when the M5s were announced, I was just kind of meh. I just didn't see any reason whatsoever to change it out. Now, I do have an M1 16-inch MacBook Pro. And that's the one that I've been putting the betas on and stuff. And I've got to say, even that, when I switch between the M4 Pro and the M1, I can feel, not necessarily see, but I can feel a little bit of difference as far as speed goes and the rest. But honestly, not enough to make me shell out over $2,000 to replace it with something else.
Yeah.
And, you were talking about the Mac Pro still being on Intel, it's almost become that weird cousin that you give a piece of cake to at the family events and then have it sit in a corner while everybody else is discussing serious stuff, and it just happily eats, Apple happily eats cake and watches Popeye cartoons. And it's, and I don't know
I didn't
if
know
Apple,
you were watching me, Guy.
huh?
I was going to say, that story's a little too close to Guy. That just came out of who he was.
And it was
right there in the
also
moment.
really oddly specific.
Yeah. But not the King features. It had to be the Fleischer brother ones because those were better.
Well, that just goes without saying.
Yeah, Fleischer brothers. Their Superman ones were good too. But anyway, getting back on point. The fact that the M series chips just hit it out of the park right at the very beginning means that there are tons of people that are still on M1 machines and may not replace them for another 4 or 5 years. There's really no reason to. There's nothing in the operating system. There's nothing with the basic types of applications that most people use that force them to upgrade to a newer Mac. And that's great, because when their friends and neighbors and all the rest of that come up and say, "Oh, you got a Mac. How long have you had that?" And they say, "Oh, 5 or 6 years." And, they're astounded because their Windows machines after 5 or 6 years are basically steaming piles of crap. So let's just be happy that Apple not only hit it out of the park with the original M1, but that each iteration of the M series processors has been better. Is it good enough to go out and buy every single generation of it? No, I don't think so. But each one is worth its weight in whatever it was that you paid for it.
I still have my Mac Mini Intel running in my office here. And I come in with it and turn it on first thing in the morning, go make a cup of coffee, come back, put the coffee on it, and that damn thing will keep the coffee warm all day long. Isn't it great?
Yeah, don't use the wrong type of coffee creamer, because it'll spoil with the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Hold on, I'm taking notes.
I just remember how hot those things got when I was trying to run stuff at full.
You never hear the fans on almost any of them.
no.
And, I'm almost at the point now, because like I said, I've got the M1 MacBook Pro. I'm thinking of going to an M3 to M5 MacBook Air, because I've got dongles and all the rest of that for all the different types of connections that I need. So do I need all of the connections that's on the MacBook Pro versus the MacBook Air, which just has the 2 USB 4/Thunderbolt 4 connections? And I don't think I do. I think, and the 15-inch, it's a beautiful screen. It's so light.
It is. I was having some trouble with the M1 Pro. It was more of a software issue than a hardware issue. So my laptop. So then I've had this M4 Pro Mac Mini, and I've now made it my primary device. And I'm like, what the hell was I doing not using this? Because the performance on this is like, I've got the M4 Pro with 24 gigs of RAM, and the only thing is I should have probably bought a little bit bigger drive. It's only got 512, but I'm getting by, and I got a ton of I'm insane with external drives. I've become an obsession. You should see the stack of them I have sitting on my desk here. It's crazy.
Well, with mine, I went from, I got 24 gig. No, I can't remember, either 24 or 32 gigs of RAM. And I went all out, not all out, but I went with a 2 terabyte internal drive.
Yeah. You got to do it. So anyway, that's what's great about it. And we'll talk, I'm going to save talking about the iPad, where that's come next week, because we can hit that as a topic then next week about that change with when the M series came out. But meanwhile, let's move on and hit some news this week. Apple is developing these 5 new satellite features for the iPhone. This was, of course, from the Gurminator. Mark Gurman reported this week and the Powered On newsletter. So what Apple's going to do, it's going to bring a series of new satellite connectivity features. It will now be able to do Apple Maps via satellite. What a concept that is, without cellular or Wi-Fi, and that's huge, because people are traveling, and a lot of times you've had to work around it by downloading the maps before you go out on your trip, and then you have it stored on the iPhone. Why would you want to do that? So now you're going to be able to do it that way. Photos and messages via satellite. So now you'll be able to support for sending photos in the Messages app using satellite connectivity. A lot of times you want to send a photo, but especially if you're in distress, you want to be able to show what's going on and what's going on, what you're doing here. Satellite over... Go ahead.
No, what you're eating.
Well, yeah. Okay. And then satellite over 5G, which supports the 5G NTN, which is allowing cell towers to use satellites for increased coverage. That's point of technology. It's just
What
just so
satellites
rapidly.
are they using?
I'm not sure what satellites they're using, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe SpaceX or
Oh, you mean
others
Starlink stuff?
or Starlink might be involved too. Yeah. So
I don't know if Apple has a partnership with Starlink yet,
No, I don't think so.
but it wouldn't surprise me if they've at least broached wow, talk about mangling a sentence. It wouldn't surprise me if they've at least talked casually about doing that.
Over drinks.
Over drinks.
They're saying Apple could create a paid option for extended connectivity with a company like SpaceX. And then the government did add that there has been discussions in the company about offering its own satellite service, but that concerns that Apple shouldn't act like a carrier, stiff that possibility. I don't see Apple wanting to be a carrier. I mean, it's just
the sheer number of satellites that you have to put up for complete coverage.
Right.
There's already, I think, at least 3 different services with many more on the way that are just putting up satellites all over the place. It kind of reminds me of Wall-E when they take off Earth and just burst through all the space junk that's up there.
Yeah.
If they could just provide a set of satellites that I know crazy talk that could be shared amongst different companies so that we wouldn't need so many up there because I mean eventually they either wear out or have to be replaced or there's newer technology or things along those lines. And okay, SpaceX is doing pretty well at putting rockets up and getting the most expensive part of them back down, but there's only a limit of what you can do for that before you start kind of not only running out of resources, but I don't even know the words. It's just the sheer amount of pollution that occurs for each one of these rocket launches, and SpaceX is doing them 2 to 3 times a week sometimes.
Yeah, seems it. Marty, you've been quiet. What's your thoughts on this?
I am not gonna be like Jill and Eric and walk out in the woods and get lost. Frankly, the only time I attempted to use satellite was when I was on a plane and was able to get it on a plane because I couldn't get ground and I shouldn't have had my phone on anyway. So don't come and arrest me.
You just arrested.
But
You're
I don't have the use case for it in terms of
makes sense.
Terms of satellites. So if they do it, great, more power to them. It probably will not be something that I get into.
Well, do you think that eventually that satellite service will become fast enough to replace cell service and towers?
Anything's possible.
Isn't that what Starlink
What's the advantage of having it up in the sky versus having it on the ground?
Less clutter on the ground.
More clutter in space.
Yeah, pretty much.
In SpaceX has brought down a few satellites. Well, they didn't want them to come down, but they came down by accident.
Yeah.
So if a tower falls in the forest, if a tower falls in the forest, you don't.
And nobody has coverage. Would they know it?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else want to add anything before we move on?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I did some research on it, previous, because when I was thinking about buying the watch, and Garmin and others use something that's called high distance satellites, which means you may not get connectivity every moment of every time, but when you lock in, it locks in for a long time. Apple uses something from a Globalstar company, and these are low orbit satellites, which is I don't know this company at all, but essentially they are constantly everywhere all the time. And so you will always have access to something at any given minute. And that's what makes Apple a little bit different than what Garmin does. And the access is better. But it reminds me of being in an airplane, right? When we first started the airplane, you had to pay for it. And then they said, okay, fine, you can text your friends with it for free. And then suddenly it's, well, okay, let's put Telegram and WhatsApp. And it's nice to have everywhere. And like I said, I was out in the cornfield taking pictures of auroras and I had no internet connection. And it was nice to know that if one of these giant rabid raccoons walked out of the field and tried to eat me, I could call for help. So
Or get them to call for help.
Get them for,
Yeah.
Their fingers don't do well on the phone and the watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Frickin'
Let's
trash pandas.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Apple did announce that this is actually earlier this week on the digital passport that's coming out. Actually, that was announced yesterday as we record this. That Apple iPhone users can now create a digital ID in the Apple Wallet app based on information from their U.S. passport. To create a passport, then looks like Eric has already set it up. I haven't done it yet. To create that and present a digital ID based on a U.S. passport, you need an iPhone 11 or later, running iOS 26.1 or later, an Apple Watch Series 6 or later, and running watchOS 26.1 or later. You need Face ID, Touch ID, and Bluetooth turn on, Apple account with two-factor authentication, so all the normal stuff that you have these days. You do have to have a valid passport that is not expired, and it's only the United States. So you create that ID. You just go right into it, and you know what? I'll have Eric tell you how he did it and how easy it was.
Yeah, you go in the wallet, hit the plus, and then go down to IDs and say you want to add one, and there's a choice. I ran into a few problems because it didn't believe I was who I was.
We don't either.
So the scanning the passport, that was easy. You open the page that's got your picture and has all the data, and you hold it up, and it says, get closer, no, further away, line it all up. So do it someplace with good lighting, and it grabs that data. Then it shows you an animation of flipping back through the book to the other side of the book, and then it wants you to put your phone down to scan the chip in the passport. That took me twice because the first time I was a little off kilter and it didn't read it. And then it says, don't move. I'm not done yet. I'm not. And then it throws up a little progress bar. It takes a bit of time to do that scan.
Yeah. But
it works pretty well. And then it wants you to do like a face recognition thing. And it's like 3 or 4 passes. Once just of your face, then it wants you to move your face so that you're not just holding up a picture of somebody and pretending to be that person. So the scan of the top of your, or moving your head to see the top of your head, a little bit of a side. It basically prompts you to run through a bunch of stuff, and then it says, "Hang on a minute," and then it really means hang on for quite a while, and it goes and does a bunch of checking to verify that everything is all correct, and just ignore it and come back to it later in the day. And then it says, yep, it's there. And then it pops up you double click the side of your phone and scan through, and the ID's right there. And it just says it's an ID, and you can't really use it unless you're someplace with somebody that has a reader. So probably airports will be the most useful.
Right. So CSA is, I'm glad you brought that up. It's limited to the United States. You cannot travel with it international. So if you're going out of the country, you have to keep your passport. You have to have it with you.
Just like the driver's license,
Yeah.
Just because you have a driver's license in your phone doesn't mean don't take your driver's license.
Right. There was a bit of a caveat with that because there's only 12 states that have it right now. So, but that's the big thing to be aware of, that, it can only be used in the United States, but it's nice that this is going to be a valid ID regardless. I mean, obviously have your driver's license with you and you can use this digital ID and should be good. Anybody else have thoughts about this? Jeff, what do you think?
Okay. Living in a state where we've had digital ID, pretty much since Apple started the whole program, and putting my driver's license in, I'm all for this, because the more we have features like this in our phones, the more pressure we're going to have on states to adopt support for it. And like here in Colorado, early adopter state for your driver's license, and yet we still have like 5 or 6 jurisdictions in the whole state that will recognize it. Now I'm supposed to be able to go into like any store that requires an ID and present digital ID, but most of them don't even know what it is.
Right.
So that said, you still have to carry physical ID all the time. But being able to have my passport in there as well, I really like that, especially because, you're going to use it for traveling. And I found that being in airports that accept digital ID, it is wonderful. I have to say pre-check for me to get completely through TSA now. It's tap my phone. It verifies that the face matches the ID. It's already linked to my boarding pass. I'm done. And it's wonderful. Being able to do the same thing with passport, sign me up. The only reason I haven't set it up yet is because I didn't have time yesterday or today to go pull out my passport and do it. Otherwise, it would already be on my phone.
Yeah, I haven't either. So, Marty, you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I see the value of it. I also do clear in airports. So those airports that have clear, it's all biometric. For me, the value of it is, of course you're going to take your passport with you when you go to a foreign country. But if you lose your passport or it gets stolen and you still have your phone, you go to the embassy, you've got better information to give them related to your passport and to your identity. So I'm hoping if that ever happens, that will be accepted at U.S. embassies in terms of being able to move that. When I traveled internationally, I used to make photocopies of my passport and put it in my suitcase and told other people who'd never done that to go ahead and do that too, just so you had, even if it was a photocopy, you had some, proof of identity or something that you could use to rectify the problem if you lost it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add? Eric is on the streamer showing his passport on his watch. So,
and it's an option. You can add it just to the phone or the phone and the watch.
That's
kind of nice.
All right.
They can ID me when I fall off a mountain in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like it only took you 3 days to do it too, Eric, which is great.
Yeah.
And all that was just trying to remember where the lockbox was that had the passport in it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, all right, let's move on to this bizarre thing that Apple released this week. They debut the iPhone Pocket. Do I smell iPod socks? This is the
only if you didn't wash them.
Oh,
yeah.
Hopefully you're not smelling socks.
No, I hope not. This is a iPod sock style accessory. Apple has teamed up with a Japanese fashion house called Izzy Misaki to launch a iPhone Pocket, a 3D knitted limited edition accessory designed to carry an iPhone, AirPods, and other everyday items. The accessory is a stretchy pocket, unlike the iPod sock, but elongated to form a strap made of ribbed elastic textile that fully encloses an iPhone, yet allows you to glimpse the display by the concept of a piece of cloth, and describes it as exploring the joy of wearing iPhone in your own way. Okay, well, it has two versions. It comes in a short strap design available in 8 colors for $149.95, and it has a long strap design with 3 colors at $229.95. And we can go on and on about Apple, and they're saying how great this is, and I think it's going to be just like the iPod socks, right, Jeff? After you sneeze.
Oh, sorry about the sneeze.
Yeah, I thought this was a joke at first,
Me
like
too.
like an April Fool's joke that people didn't realize the date. And anyhow, um, I am not the market for this, and I don't know off the top of my head people who would be the market for this. However, if Apple's making it, that there must be a market for it.
There's a sucker born every minute.
Yeah.
You know what my first thought was?
Mm.
I got a whole wall of yarn right here. I
Make
could
your
knit
own.
my own.
Yeah, where's Kelly
Yeah.
Gaumont when we need her?
Yep, that was my
Right.
first thought. I'm gonna go knit myself one. Yeah, just for funsies.
Now make it waterproof, and okay, you might actually have something there, something that's you can easily open to take stuff out, but it's waterproof and it's just hanging around your neck and by your side. I'm picturing
That's not
stuff like
fashion
crazy at like theme parks and stuff like that with water rides. Heck, I'd buy one, not at these prices, but
Come
yeah,
on. Now, yeah, there are a bunch of people buying Hermes watch bands that cost more than their Apple Watch. Yeah, that basically just attach around your wrist and carry your watch around. This does not surprise me, and I first of all, I didn't think it was a joke because I've got one of those crossbody straps for my phone, and I thought, okay, well, this is a different crossbody strap in a sense for people to carry their phone. It's a designer Issey Miyake, which you kind of think, is this a joke? I thought the same thing when I read it. Is it a joke? Issey Miyake, is there like IP Daily or Seymour Butts? And but in all seriousness, I got in a conversation with someone about the crossbody strap, and then went a little bit further. Today, I got a new one for carrying my iPhone battery with along. And these are rather big in other countries. So I don't think it's speaking to our market whatsoever. Those of us who like to carry our phone in our back pocket and sit on it occasionally, it's not speaking to that market. It's
No.
speaking to a European, or I think principally an Asian market.
Yeah. Well, according to the newsroom release from Apple directly, customers can purchase the iPhone Pocket beginning Friday, November 14th. That's tomorrow as we record here. Select Apple Store locations and Apple.com in France, Greater China, Italy, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, and the UK and the US, just in time for the holidays. Apple specialists in stores and online can help customers mix and match different lengths, colors with their iPhone, style their iPhone Pocket, and purchase their new favorite accessory. I can't wait. And if you look at the list here of what stores are going to carry it, it's all over, many across the world, and only one store. It's in, what a surprise, New York City, the Soho store.
Yeah.
So
New York City.
Get a rope.
yeah. So
Well,
go
I
run
mean,
out and buy one of those.
I figure anyone stylish enough to be wearing designer clothing with no pockets, this is made for them.
Yeah.
Quite
Next
literally.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, hell froze over. Tesla is working on adding Apple CarPlay support to their vehicles. Can you believe it?
Nope.
Tesla is working on adding support for Apple CarPlay in its vehicles, according to our pal Marker, the Germinator. He reports that Tesla, of course, relies on its own infotainment software system, which integrates vehicle functions, navigation, browsing, and blah, blah, blah. But I guess they're kind of thinking that might be they have to abruptly reverse course because sales for Teslas have been quite down lately. And all of us on this panel would not want to rent a car without having CarPlay in their car, let alone not owning a car that has it. So yeah, I can't believe it.
Tesla's going to add CarPlay. Oh, all is forgiven. No, I'll just get another vehicle that has CarPlay in it.
But I don't think any of the EVs have them. I mean, maybe the Ford 150, I don't know, but not many of them do.
Yeah, I mean, we know the whole
Certainly not the
GM
GM.
debacle, so I mean, that's yeah. But is this going to help Tesla sell cars? I'm questioning that.
I think the problem with Tesla sales, while people complain about the lack of CarPlay, it's not the CarPlay that's become the problem. There are other issues that are playing into this. I mean, there's
The
quality
owner?
control. There's, yep. Elon Musk is very controversial, and a lot of people are not buying because he's part of the company. I drive down the road. It's called the Diagonal. It's a highway that directly connects Boulder and Longmont. Zip along 65 miles an hour, and I've seen a Tesla Cybertruck going the opposite direction. Watched a side panel just blow right off into the median. And anyhow, I think Tesla has bigger problems right now than whether or not they have CarPlay.
I heard adding CarPlay was what got him his $1 trillion bonus.
Oh, well, there you go.
Worth it.
You know, I mean, I think from my point of view is I'm probably never going to buy an EV. But let's say I won, it just doesn't fit my life, right? I just cannot buy an EV. I go out camping a lot, but if I were to win the lottery and decide I wanted to have a second car, Tesla would probably be the car I would get for an EV. But then I would get stuck and say, well, I don't have to have CarPlay. I must have CarPlay. And this would be a big deal to me. This would push me over the edge if, like I said, I won the I won the lottery and decided to get an EV just to have. And I think there's a lot of people in my town that drive EVs and drive Teslas. I don't know. I just think it's a boon for them to be the only EV company, right? I mean, probably Honda, has very limited number of EVs, or Kia or something that might go with CarPlay, but most of the big manufacturers of EVs decided not to.
Jim Ray in the chat.
Yep.
Hey,
He's
Jim.
pointing out
So
Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, Ford, BMW, Mercedes, Volvo, Polestar, and he says probably a couple more.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's all, but yeah, I think it's a big deal.
I looked at Subaru EV and with wanting CarPlay in it, but that was not enough to convince my wife that we should get an EV. So.
Yeah.
But you tried. Well done.
Yeah. Worth a shot.
I think that it would be interesting to see. It looks like they're just going to kind of containerize this and roll it out that way. So it'll be interesting to see if they can roll it out to all of the existing cars. Because I can see it maybe being useful in the used car market.
Yeah. So, all right. Last story I want to wrap up for this week. And it just got announced today as we record this. Major League Soccer is coming to Apple TV in 2026. You kind of think, what? They've already had it. Oh no, what's happening is in the beginning of 2026, all MLS matches, of course, if you don't know what MLS is, that's Major League Soccer in the US, will be available to stream on Apple TV subscribers at no additional cost. So it's
going to be included.
So every regular season match, including the League Cups and everything, you'll be able to watch it for free, included in the subscription to Apple TV Plus, which is $12.99 a month if it's standalone. Interestingly enough, and just not even a month ago, Apple announced a partnership and signed with F1. So they're going to be showing all the F1. So there's going to be no paywall for that either. Of course, you still have MLB. I think that contract's still going for another year of the Friday Night Baseball. So I'm kind of seeing a trend here because right now, I think most people know YouTube TV has a embroiled battle between Disney right now. Because I can't watch ABC and I can't watch ESPN or any Disney properties on YouTube TV, which is very annoying. So I think you're going to start seeing these trends that I think a lot of these types of pay services are just going to, we'll just include it and just, adjust the price accordingly. See what the kind of demand is, because you got so many of them like that. Well, this just shows you how incredibly large and how much Apple TV has grown. I'm just still not used to saying Apple TV Plus anymore. It's now Apple TV. Which is I think a good marketing move on their part. We've talked about that. So, this is definitely this could trend it to the trend the market to others to follow suit with this. So, what are your thoughts on this, Jeff?
Well, first, I'm surprised.
Yeah, me too.
But this is also great. I've said before, if Apple wants their streaming service to be taken seriously as a head-to-head competitor to other streaming services, then they need to have live spectator sports. And here we go. And giving people any of the major league sports, professional sports, where you have no paywall, I think that's a great selling point.
Yep.
I have experienced the hell that sports fans deal with trying to watch games by paying attention to Brian's presentation at Macstock a couple years ago.
Brian Flanick Arthurs.
Yes. And I'm like, oh my God, how can anyone put up with this? And how can this industry think this is okay to do this to their customers? And here's Apple fixing that, at least for soccer. So well done.
Deep pockets.
How about you guys? You being the sports fan you are?
Yeah. Something that Hulu offers that I really, really like is live TV, and it's tied to the geographical location of where you live. So I can watch NFL games that are typically shown on, CBS, NBC, Fox, all of the various networks that show it for my area. Now, does it suck that I can't see, you can't see my shirt, but I'm wearing a Dolphins shirt that I can't wear, or I can't see Miami Dolphins games? Yeah, that sucks. But I will take, that would be fantastic if Apple could offer live TV based on your geographical location. That would be fantastic. I also think that they should purchase the UFL, but I've been beating that dead horse for a long time.
Yes, you have. So, Marty, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Jim Ray in the chat room kind of beat me to the punch. I faithfully, for the last couple of years, have paid for MLS as an add-on because I'm going to broaden my sports knowledge and interest by watching MLS. And it's great now that it's free because I don't have to pay for it, and I won't be watching games like when I paid for it. Anyway, so it's a zero-sum game for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big MLS fan, honestly, but I just think what Apple doing this was kind of just big to get it changed.
I think it's going to pull a lot of people in a sense, to subscribe to Apple TV who do follow that. And I was like, I'm going to become a Chicago Fire fan,
Yeah, I mean, F1's going to probably generate even more when that starts. So, Jill, you got the last word.
Well, I do have trouble sleeping from time to time. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
And a 0-0 game would be great for me, but no, I'm just kidding. Sorry, all you soccer fans out there. I don't watch any soccer. I actually watch the Wrexham show, and I fast forward through all the soccer parts so I can see the funny two guys and the stuff about the town, but I didn't watch it. So it's a bad thing for me, but I'm glad that there are fans, and I'm glad for fans out there, because you're right.
Sure.
As I watched the same presentation at Macstock you did, and it is a horrible time to be a fan right now of any sport and try to watch all the games. So I think it's great for them.
Yeah. Actually, Eric's the last word. So let Eric.
I was just going to, go ahead, Eric.
Well, I like watching Toronto and DC. and that, and only occasionally do I come across somebody who also watches soccer, and I certainly don't watch it other than like occasionally. But it's nice now to be able to say, "Yep, a game is on, just go watch it." I think it also will help keep Apple devices in the hands of more people.
Absolutely.
Because
Go
then
ahead,
you can see
Marty,
the game
go ahead.
wherever. Yeah.
Go ahead and
Yeah,
add your
just
last word there.
I thought it would be really cool if they do this service, but then it would also be rather simple to do if they did with Vision. If you're watching it through Vision Pro, you got a tabletop, like we've seen with some of the apps, like the sailing apps that they have, or the sailing competition apps, or watching planes land at airports, that you can do a tabletop that has the track that where the cars are going around in F1, or where the players are on the field in MLS. Just it would be an added piece to that technology.
Yep.
I was thinking if you could walk along the field, and just turn your head in any direction and just see.
Yeah, they're going to be doing that with like Lakers games or some of the Lakers games, but it hasn't gone full scale yet.
We'll be talking about that when that happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was a great show. Thanks, everybody, for being here this week, and everybody watching and listening. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and wrap up. This is a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at InTouchWithIOS. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers to be able to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe when you're so you're notified when we're live streaming. That is Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/intouchwithios, where we had Witherbucket, and we've had a bunch of other folks in the chat. Thanks for being out here this week. You can also watch the past live streams and the current ones, as well as listen to past shows. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, many others. Better yet, just go to our website. It's intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there on that site. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65. Guys, Earl, thanks so much for being here. Where can people find you?
Well, thanks for having me. You can sometimes find me over on Mac Voices on Tuesday night with the usual crowd. Some of them, or most of them, are actually right here in front of you as we speak. Dave continuously not only does he let me on, he asks me to be on In Touch with iOS, and you can take that up with him. However, the main thing that I'm doing, of course, is the G-Men Show with Gaz Maz. We've been doing this show in one form or another since 2010. You can email us at gmenshow@icloud.com. We are also Mac Parrot and Vert Shark over on Squax and Sky Blues. And of course, you can find the Vert Shark channel over on the YouTubes. We have a Google Voice number that is 703-828-4677. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Bolden, thanks you for being here. How can people find you?
I can be found staring at the space fires in the middle of a field. Otherwise, on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mas.to. Monday nights, doing all my VisionOS stuff on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live for Mac OS and other news. And of course, here on Thursdays, rounding up everything, capping off the week on In Touch with iOS.
All right. Jeff Gammon, thank you for being here. Where can people find you?
Okay, well, when I'm not making stupid jokes about
me,
waves hands in the air.
Yeah.
How about Jay Gammett on social media, mostly on Blue Sky, Mastodon, and PixelFed. Wow, I shouldn't have had to think about that. And then for shows on Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices Live, Here With You on In Touch With iOS, on the British Tech Network for The Big Show and The Mac Show. Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Excellent. Thank you. And Marty Gensius, thank you for being here. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Gensius, Jencius, at Blue Sky, and also on Mastodon. Monday nights with Vision Profiles with Eric and Dave at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, streaming on YouTube. Tuesdays with Chuck Joyner on Mac Voices. Thursdays here. And other projects I'm involved in is at thepodtalk.net. One in particular I started called Fade to Chat, which is movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I do with Cindy Rotz, and we just finished Lawrence of Arabia, and the next show we're going to do is Duck Soup. So it's fun to get into some of the history of that and talk about it. But particularly, and we didn't steal this from Jeff and Retro Rewatch, but we're running into movies that we can't believe the other person hasn't seen yet. And that's the fun part.
One.
Yeah.
That would be most of them for me. So, thanks for being here, Marty. Appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, Jill McKinley. It's always a pleasure having you here. Where can people find you?
Thank you for having me. You can find everything I do at jillfromthenorthwoods.com. And I have a productivity podcast called Start With Small Steps, where I just talk about kind of fixing your life one small step at a time. And Buzz, Blossom, and Squeak, which is about nature right outside your front door. Half the time, I'm standing in the middle of the cornfield in the middle of the night and thinking, what made that noise? And then I'll do a podcast about it. Or what weird bug did I see on my back screen door? And, so it's about just not deep dive into science, but just noticing the world around you. So.
All right. Thank you so much, Jill. Thanks, everybody, for listening, for watching, and being here and supporting the show. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back next week. But until next time, we'll talk again soon.